So this morning I interviewed Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia, and we had a very full conversation about a lot of the issues, including the minimum wage, legalization of drugs, campaign finance reform, Medicare for all. So please check it out. It's on youtube.com/TYT. But I wanted to give you one snippet of it here because I thought what he said was very interesting, and I was surprised by it. It was unexpected to me. I asked him about his donors. Let's begin to watch that portion of the interview. You voted to repeal the stream protection rule. And your top donor is First Energy that wound up getting in some degree of trouble for putting arsenic in a pond. It seems like they would benefit from the repeal of that regulation. So did that have anything to do with your vote?
No. Cenk, I know it's hard to believe, and I know it's hard for people to, I don't have any idea who gives me money. I don't solicit from the standpoint that you do this for me, quid pro quo. That's never been me. That's not my political mantra at all.
So, okay, quid pro quo, I understand, as I'm about to explain there, but you don't know who your donors are. Curious, let's keep going. Senator Manchin, I want to show you a graphic here, graphic 1, and then if we can 2 as well, but let's start with 1. This is the list of your top donors. I thought you said that you don't, I understand that you said you don't do quid pro quo, that was clear.
Yeah.
But you know who your top donors are, right?
I do not.
You don't know who your top donors are?
I do not. You're showing me something I've never seen.
Okay, so this is from Open Secrets.
I know you have, Cenk, I know that is hard for anyone to believe. I do not. I never have.
Okay, well, I gotta be honest, Senator Manchin, that is hard to believe. And the reaction so far online to that has been, suffice it to say, that the audience also finds it hard to believe. Now, it might be that he doesn't know their specific names. I can't even say it. So because you had to go to fundraisers, right? Didn't you? All those people that you got donations from, you never figured out who they were from. They never told you where they were from, or they told you but you immediately forgot. And campaign donations are a huge part of why you think you've got an advantage and how Washington thinks overall, who's got more money, who's more likely to win. And by the way, that's the reality too. Unfortunately, and that's why you need campaign finance reform. Whoever has more money has a 95% chance of winning in congressional elections. So if he doesn't know who his donors are, well, he might be getting a call from them today saying, wait a minute, did I just give you all that money and you're telling me you don't even know who I am? Okay, so that's not normally how it works, but let's keep going. Your small individual contributions make up only 1% of the money coming in from 2013 to 2018 into your campaigns. So 99% big money, 1% small money. So I wonder if you're for getting big money out of politics. It's a literal question, or do you think the current system is fine?
Oh, the current system is not fine. The current system has destroyed the politics or the government as we know how we go through this process of electing people. The dark money coming in is horrible. That's not the money the candidates run. Forget about that, Cenk. That money is not going to make a difference in who wins and who loses. It's the dark money coming in that we have no control whatsoever. Citizens United is absolutely destroying our country. And it should be outlawed. It should be done away with. It should have never come into being.
So do you think there should be public financing instead of private financing of elections?
I tried public finance when I was governor of West Virginia and supported it. Absolutely.
Would you be in favor of an amendment to get money out of politics?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You talk about money being the root of all evils. In politics, it's destroying politics as we know it.
Well, that's great news. I didn't know that he was in favor of that in that sense. Look, there's this part that I disagree with him there, which is I think the money they directly contribute to politicians is also a problem. Yes, the dark money is a huge problem because they don't know where it's coming from, but the money where we know where it's coming from is also a problem. Yeah, okay, it's coming from the Koch brothers. And then you wind up doing things that help the Koch brothers. I don't mean Senator Manchin himself, although he was part of ALEC, and it's a group where they write legislation for conservative lawmakers and funded by corporations. So you know where it's coming from in that sense, and you know the results of what ALEC pushes for, which is the pro-corporate policies that help their donors. So I'm worried about the dark money and the money where we can see where it's coming from. I'm worried about both of it. But the fact that he wants to do something about it, if you take him at his word at that, that's good news. So let's dive one last bit here into how he wants to deal with money in politics in his campaign and find that out. One way to go is how your primary opponent, Paula Jean Swearengin, is going, which is to say, I'm going to forsake the big money overall. I'm just only going to take small money contributions. Have you considered that for yourself, Senator Manchin?
I haven't been in control of the money from. We go out and campaign, and we go out for solicitation like every other competitive campaign. And we're going online. I've not been online, so I need to get online to get more of the individual contributions. I'm very appreciative from $1 on up. And in the state, it's $1,000, but on a U.S. Senate or the congressional, it's $2,700 per person is the top amount per cycle. And there's not many people in West Virginia that can do anywhere near that.
Senator,
people basically, they give what they desire to give.
So no, he will not be forsaking big donor money for now. Check out the rest of the interview. Lots of interesting answers in there. Get a much better sense of who Senator Manchin is. And I asked him about not only the policies, but different parts of his record and how he feels about progressives, Bernie Sanders, etc. So youtube.com/TYT. We'll put a link down below as well. But his answer on whether he knows who his donors are and whether that affects him, well, you have the answer. What you do with that answer and how much you believe it is up to you. Watch the Young Turks commercial free, download it or stream it, watch it any way you like at tytnetwork.com/join.